Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Better Club. I am your host, Lachelle Mimi, and I am so grateful that you are here. You guys, if you are part of the Better Club, you know that we are a tribe of people who want to lift one another up. We are the tribe of people who want to be better for ourselves so that we can be the best versions of ourselves to allow us to do better in our community, to do better in our business, to be doing better as a family person or as a human being. And we want to have better in our life and our business, both for ourselves and for the people that we care so much about. So we are be better, do better, and have better kind of people here inside the Better Club. And I am so grateful that you're here. So you guys, it is Tuesday. It is 7:30 p.m. Central Time here in Minnesota. And it means that I get to come on here live and talk to all my friends. Hey, everybody inside of the YouTube community, and hey, everybody inside of the Better Club community on Facebook. I am so excited that you are here. So if it is your very first time, I want you to tell me if this is your very first time. If you have been coming back week after week and you love learning about ways that you can be better, do better, and have better in your life and in your business, I want to hear from you too. If you guys are wanting a little bit more engagement over in YouTube land, you want to come on over to the Facebook groups that you can be more involved in our chat over here so that you can allow yourself to be supported and for us to be able to get to know you a little bit better. So tonight we're going to talk about some things that are near and dear to my heart because I literally just this morning landed from my latest trip to Nashville, Tennessee. And I'm going to talk about what to do when you feel like you're wanting to give up on your dreams. Okay. So here's the scoop. I think that so many of us in business specifically, but this can apply to things in our personal life as well. This can apply to our dream marriage or relationships. Maybe you're in the dating game and you are just like, I give up, right? Or maybe you're trying to get yourself to that perfect dress size that you envision yourself to be for a certain event, right? And it's just not coming off and it's not, you're not getting the progress that you thought you would by now. And you're just like, screw it. I just want to give up, right? And oftentimes as an entrepreneur, it's really easy for us to fall into this trap. And I personally have been there, you guys. And there are times in business where it kind of, you're up and then you have a valley of down and then you go back up again. And it's okay. It's okay to allow ourselves to know that that's going to be normal. And I want you to hear it from people like me who've been in business for 5.5 years. And some days you guys are like so freaking amazing. And I'm like, this is what I'm being called to do. Like I feel it in my bones, right? And then there's other days that I'm like, God, I don't know if I have what it takes to do this. Lord, if you want me to continue on this path, I ask that you please give me the passion and the energy to do what it is that you're calling me to do. And if this is something that you want me to set down, Lord, please decrease the passion and energy for this particular season in my life. And every single time I prayed that prayer, he has given me the passion and the energy to get back on my horse and to get back into my business mindset so that I can try to do what I want to do in order to serve people in a different way, to be able to give my family a more present mom, and to allow for me to feel fully challenged and fulfilled. Because sometimes, let's just be honest, guys, like if we're in a 9 to 5, sometimes we just can't, there isn't another ladder to climb, right? There isn't another place for us to go to. And so we can kind of get a little burnt out. We can get stifled in that way, right? But I want to tie all of this back, you guys, to my conversation the experience, that I had just in the last couple of days when I was in Nashville. Goodness sakes, can you tell I'm tired tonight? I have gotten to know some amazing artists in my several years of going there. I try to get to Nashville at least once a year, if not a couple times a year. I'm going back in September to be able to speak at Kimberly Olsen's Like a Gold Digger conference. So I'm super excited for my next trip back already. But after I've been going there for a few years, I've gotten to know a couple of people. And you guys, they're such talented musicians. And they've been doing this their whole adult life, many of them, right? And I love to just sit and I love to observe. And when I do that, I walk into a place and I'm listening to a musician and I'm paying attention to all different kinds of things. All right. So for those of you guys who have never been to Nashville, say like, hey, I need to make it there. And for those of you guys who love it as much as I do, I want you to say go Nashville in the comments because it's so fun just to talk to my other fellow Nashville fans and we can share travel tips and places that we need to check out because I have some of my favorites that I would love to tell you guys about. Most of them revolve around food and music, just so you know. Anyway, so I'll go into one of the bars on, so there's a main street called Broad Street, okay? And Broad Street is where all the honky tonks are, okay? So if you're not a country music fan, it doesn't matter. Like they play all different kinds of music, mostly country though, okay? And 90s country is really back right now, which is like the era that I grew up in. So I knew all the words. It's really fun. But anyway, so when you are walking down Broadway, you literally can pick a place. Like every single storefront pretty much is a place that you can walk in and listen to live country music or live music in general. Okay. So you're literally walking and you hear something because their amps are, facing the street as well. So you could hear music from inside and it can draw you in. Okay. So these musicians are up there. Now, what I've learned is that many of them do not get paid. And I want to say most, but I want to make sure I check my facts on that. But most don't get paid by the bars themselves. They actually make their living off of tips, which tells you that they have to be really stinking good to even make it to the strip, because there's no way that a person can support themselves or their family by basing their entire, career on a bucket that's filled with dollar bills and $20 bills, right? So you have to be good to even make a dent in your lifestyle to be able to make this work, right? So you're walking on Broadway and you can hear music from literally every single storefront. And it draws you in and you go in and you sit down, okay, and you listen to music, or if they're really good, you're up dancing, okay? What I've noticed, you guys, is that you might walk into a place, right? And there is not a single place to sit. And then you might walk into a place and maybe there's an abundance of places to sit. And it got me thinking about how it is to be somebody who is literally like sold their stuff, right? They picked up and they moved themselves to Nashville to follow their dreams. And just really just trying to take this moment and really like feel what it must be like for these people. And I took pictures because it just like it stood out to me so much. Like at the end of every set, the band would pick up all their stuff. So they have a steel guitar and there's tons and tons of different equipment that goes along with that instrument. They're picking up every tiny little piece and carefully packing it onto their dolly, and they're moving it, back out to the street, and hopefully they can find parking somewhere decent, right? They're putting their guitar back in their case, and they're walking down the street to get to their car. They're packing up all of their stuff day after day. They're unpacking it day after day. They're pouring their hearts out into a place that may or may not even draw people in. People come in, you're playing your heart out, right? And then all of a sudden, somebody just decides to leave. Or maybe they leave and they don't tip you. Or maybe they just come in and they just like think that you're the most amazing person they've heard on the strip yet, and they just can't get enough of you, and they keep putting money into your tip jar. I watched all of this. Okay, now how does this equate to being a business owner? And maybe it's the marriage or the dating thing that I mentioned, or the weight thing. It doesn't really matter. It honestly comes down to you and your dreams and what you feel like God has put on your heart that He is calling you to do, right? That's uniquely yours. And I think sometimes people can get really, really caught up in, I don't know what my purpose is. And honestly, that's a whole nother discussion that we can have. But I wanted to say that you always don't know your full purpose. You just know the next step, right? And a lot of these guys show up and their hopes are that they can be the next big person to be able to show up on, the Ryman Auditorium and sing to the hearts of the Opry fans. But that doesn't always happen. People show up, they unload their stuff, they put together their stuff, they play, they watch people come in, they watch people leave, they watch people just engaging in everything they're doing, they watch people be disinterested, they watch people talking and carrying on their conversations. And I just gotta wonder like how hard it's that. And there was one particular gentleman that we sat down and watched. He was right off of the main strip. So second is my favorite place to go, honestly, because I prefer somebody just sitting there with an acoustic guitar and playing their heart out. That's my jam. But we walk into this place, you guys, and there is literally one other person in this place. And he's singing and he's doing an amazing job. And I just have to ask myself, like, how that must feel to look up and there's nobody watching you, that you probably aren't going to get any money tonight, but you committed to being there. And so you're there right? It's another day where it didn't work out for you. It's another day of showing up. It's another day of packing your stuff and unpacking your stuff and pouring your heart out for what? And I think that's what draws me to Nashville so much, you guys, is because the perseverance and the resilience and what that can teach me as a person who doesn't want to be somebody who gives up, as a person who wants to model for my kids what resiliency and grit and perseverance are, right? And I think I love going there because I love to watch people go after their dreams and show me in real time what it's like to be resilient, what it's like to be gritty, what it's like to have something in your heart that you know, but it hasn't come fast enough. It's not showing up yet, right? And I think it's so interesting too, because I watch this and there might be literally like one person comes in and they're like, and they leave, right? Another person like literally will be like dancing their crazy, moves in the street, but doesn't actually make their way in. There might be people who, they'll come in and they just like, oh my gosh, like this is the best band I've ever heard in my life. And they like know every words and they're like, oh my gosh, I love you. And all of this happens in the same stream of time. I'm watching this. And what I think that also reminds me is that we're not for everybody. We're for the right people, right? There are going to be people, you guys, who don't ever even want to like walk into our honky tonk, right? We're not their thing. We don't get their taste in music, right? So they're going to keep walking by. We can't take that seriously. We can't take that personally, I guess. That's what I meant. The other thing that I recognize that there's going to be people who are going to come in, they're going to try it out for a little bit, and they're going to decide, not for me. We can't take that personally either, right? There are going to be people who are going to try out our business. They're going to try out our Facebook group. They're going to try out our podcast. They're going to try out something that we're doing, and they're going to say, it's not really my thing. That's okay too, okay? We're also going to have those people who are going to, be walking by, right? And they just go wild. They're outside dancing. They're having so much fun, but they don't ever actually want to walk in. There are going to be those people, guys, who are our diehard fans that are going to show up for every free thing we have, but they never want to make the purchase for what it is that we're selling. We have to love them anyway. And then there are going to be those people, you guys, who will walk in, and they're going to be the people who want to be your Facebook friends, who are going to send you a message every single time they're in town, who are going to, make sure that they make a point to follow where you're going while they're there, right? They're going to make it a point to tip your Venmo $100. They're going to make it the point to request all the songs that they know that you like totally rock, right? That's me and my friends Isaac and Bobby. I love them so much that I really genuinely keep, we can keep in touch all year. And when I'm down there, I'm like, where are you playing? I will make it a point. Like my plans go around when they're playing. They're so amazing. There are going to be those people out there, guys. And so when there's somebody that loves you and loves your craft and loves whatever it is that you're doing, we have to allow that to take us and help us kind of float through. Okay. Because sometimes it can be really hard. And I know for my friends, they tell me it can be burning out on the strip. It can be hard when you show up day after day and you're not making the progress that you thought you were going to make. You're not making the life that you thought you were going to buy now. You're not experiencing certain things in a way that you felt were the way that it was supposed to be. But I think one of the things that I've noticed more than anything is that the people who are showing up every single day are loving the process of doing it. They show up every day, you guys, because they still love the process of singing. They love the process of performing. They love the process of the services that they're providing. And I think that if you're in a funk, if you're in a place where you're like, I don't even know if I can keep doing this, I want you to find something in your process that you love to do. Because if it's not fun anymore, it's really, really hard for us to keep showing up. I also want to remind you again that you can go back and you can pray, God, please give me the passion and the energy for what it is that you want me to do. If this is what you want me to do, Lord, please give me the passion and energy for it. If this is not what you want me to do anymore, please take that away. Every single time I pray that he's shown me the direction he wants me to go. So he will show me the things in the process that light me up. He will show me the things in the process that allow me to keep going, because he knows what's around that corner. He knows the timeline. He knows all of the lessons, the people, the things that you're going to acquire that might even be better than what you thought. Okay. So if you're somebody who is like, oh my gosh, I just don't know if I can keep doing this, I want you to just remember that it was put on your heart for a reason. I want you to pray that little prayer. I want you to find people in your life that are going to fill you up. That are going to, cheer you on. It could be fans. It could be people in the industry. Bobby and Isaac, I met their friend Chris yesterday, and he's an amazing guy. And he's like, yeah, we collaborate all the time and we pick each other up when we're down and all the things. Like, find people in your tribe, you guys, who can help you continue to move forward where you're being called, because it's going to be hard. There are going to be days where you just don't feel like doing it. And I'm going to tell you that if you decide to quit, you're going to have to start all over from the ground one. And you don't want to do that. So just take a day, give yourself some space, give yourself some grace, give yourself some rest. And then I want you to think about, okay, what do I love about the process? Say your prayers, and then just surround yourself with the people who are going to help you get there. Okay. Now, I wanted to make sure that I told you guys that next week, starting on Monday, and I'm honestly gonna, I'm cheering up a little bit, and it might be because I'm tired. But it's like, this is my calling. So I have been watching people in business for 5.5 years now. And I have watched people literally tell me their dreams. They will tell me to the most intimate detail of what their future life can look like. And then they get in their heads. They get their first no, or their first person that ignores them. I don't know about you guys, but I had a list. I still had that freaking list of the people that I thought were going to be my number one fans when I started my first business. And none of them, not a single one of them, have ever even asked me about what it is that I do. And I think that can happen to some people. We get no's, or we get ignored, or we don't get support from people that we thought we were going to get support from. We feel like maybe this is just for someone else, right? Like, we think maybe I just don't want to have what it takes to make it, right? Maybe it's just not for me. Maybe I just don't want to have to sell like myself, or sell a product, or sell something because it's too hard. Maybe I just don't want to show up because I really just am too afraid of what people think. I'm really too afraid that people will make fun of me behind my back. They're going to talk about me, or they're going to judge me. And I have had people in my life, you guys, that like, they have this amazing sparkle in their eye, and then they got, their brother made fun of them for something they posted on Facebook, or a friend from work, made fun of them. Like, I literally can imagine people in my head right now. And so they stopped. They stopped growing. They stopped trying. They gave up. And the dream that God placed on their hearts was knocked over by doubt and fear and the opinions of others. And I've been there. I've considered myself very coachable. And I got to a point in my business, it grew really, really fast right away. And then I got into a point in my business where I got in my head a lot. I started to overthink quite a bit. And I got in my head. And the things that I was coachable before, I just couldn't get myself to do. And I was starting to question whether I had what it takes. And when you start to question that, when that belief bubble gets burst, and there's a crack in that, it's really, really hard for you to show up and do the things that you have to do. So I put together a series of trainings, I guess, next Monday through next Friday. And it's all about how we can conquer the no's. Now, this is way more than just how do I get a yes in business. Like, anybody who knows me knows that I am all about heart, and I'm all about the mind. I love using brain science to work on stuff. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you through a series of trainings that is going to help you not only get over your fear of being rejected, but I'm really hoping that it's going to give you the confidence to say, you know what? No, damn it. I have what it takes and I am sticking this out. I'm going to bring my guitar back tomorrow. I'm going to get up on that stage again, even if nobody freaking walks into this bar, and I'm going to keep singing with, as much gusto as I can if it was packed. That's what I want for you, because I know that God has things on our hearts and sometimes we can get in his way, right? I don't want any of our lives wasted or regrets building up, and as we sit back and look at the things that we had in front of us, right? So we're going to talk about money's all about mindset. So I'm going to give you some really cool brain science, like mindset things to consider. The next day, I'm going to talk about our heart set and really showing up with the energy and actually the fuel for it that is going to completely transform your message. I'm going to then talk about how you can make sure that you're attracting the right people online, because honestly, if you're not talking to the right people, you're going to hear more no's. And so if I can help you on the front end of getting out in front of the right people from the start, you're going to hear no a lot less. I'm going to talk to you about how to level up your communication so that your heart and your passion and why you're doing this is coming across so that you can't say the wrong thing. You've heard this before, right? You can't say the wrong thing to the right person. You can't say the right thing to the wrong person. I'm going to show you how that actually happens in very tangible ways. And then the last day, I'm just going to talk to you about what to do if you get objections, and what do you do to follow up with somebody that is going to keep your relationships intact so that you don't feel like people are going to be running away from you when they see you down the hallway, or, you're going to sabotage new relationships. And I'm going to teach you how to handle that with so much professionalism and grace that you're never going to be afraid to see somebody again that you've talked about your business with. So I really just don't want any of us to give up on our dreams, guys. I don't want any of us to let the enemy win, quite honestly. I don't want to ramble here, but I'm just going to say that if somebody were to ask me, like, what is your purpose, Lachelle? Anybody that knows the parable of the servant in the Bible, he talks about how there's a master that goes away and he entrusts coins into 3 different servants. One of them gets 5 coins, one of them gets 3 coins, and the one of them gets 2 coins. And the ones with 5 and 3 go out and invest their coins. And when the master comes back, they said, "Look, sir, look what I've done with your money." That's what our talents are, guys. God asks us to use what he has given us uniquely, specifically. He gives us exactly what he knows we can handle. There's a reason that not everybody in that story got the same. He gives us what we can handle. And he entrusts that you're going to go out and you're going to allow it to flourish. You're going to allow it to be reinvested in his kingdom. And then there's a third guy who buries the coins because he's so afraid of losing them that he wants to keep them safe. So he never uses them. He never invests them. He never lets them see the light of day. He buries them. And God is like, you wasted what I gave you. And it's like, I'm the person who's like, wait, stop, don't bury those. Give me that shovel. Let's do this. Let's do this together. Because I know that God gave you a very, very unique gift. And I know that you are in whatever industry you're in right now because you were led there. And I got to just say that you cannot give up on something that you haven't fully tried. So let's get our mindset right. Let's get our heart set right. Let's get our communication right and some of our systems and processes right. And we can crush this, guys. So I'm going to make sure that you have all the information. It's a free challenge, 5 days. Nothing that I want from you other than for you to learn and show up and to do what it is that I'm asking you to do. There's going to be homework. So if you guys want, make sure you type workbooks in the comments, and I'm going to make sure that I get you the registration link so you can get your workbook ahead of time so that you're not scrambling on Monday when we start this. So it's going to be 7:00 p.m. every single day next week and the first week in June, full week in June. And let's just do this together, guys. I believe in you so much. I believe in you so much. I believe that you're capable of better. I believe that you are capable of building a better life for your family. I believe that there's so much inside of you that we can mine out and beauty that we can allow to come out. And I look back at when I started my business 5.5 years ago, I am not even the same person. I was insecure and I was quiet and I was plagued with this overwhelming fear of what other people thought of me. And now I'm serving in a way that lights my soul on fire. And I want that for you too. So let's do this together. Make sure that you put workbook. Put workbook in the comments. We'll make sure that we get that to you. And I just thank you for being part of this. So stay tuned. The training is going to be right here inside the Better Club on Facebook. And I just think that you guys, let's crush this. All right. Bye, everybody.